So, in the deep darkness of the mansion, you find yourself surrounded by all manner of creatures of the night. As the vampire himself has sent his children of the night upon you, you hold up your sword ready to slay them down. Please roll for initiative how you will respond.
Okay. Here I go.
And... what is it?
It's a...
Nat 20! Oh my god!
That means I go first, right?
You absolutely go first. What do you do?
I kill them all!
Yes! Take that, horror monsters of the night. You will not underestimate the powers of a natural 20 ever again! Oh, wait. I just remembered we got a podcast to record.
That's true.
Back to slaying creatures of the night later.
Let's do it.
Hit the intro! The General Geekery Podcast presents Spooktober. I think that might be the most energetic intro that we've done so far. So glad we decided to do that. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy Spooktober to you all once again. As always, welcome back to the General Geekery Podcast.
Woo!
This is, of course, the podcast where we love to geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Indeed.
Choking on coffee?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know why I bother to drink coffee at all during this beginning bit, because I know I'm supposed to speak, but I'm just like...
Caffeination is important, Hannah. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that fuels us.
I just gotta dump that sweet, sweet caffeine down my gullet.
Caffeine. Speaking of caffeine, I am your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, and streamer by night. Donald back once again with us as always. She is the dice slinger extraordinaire, video game Annette, and our resident artiste magnificent. She is Hannah Kubiak.
Hello. It's so good to be here.
Yay! Sorry, swig of coffee.
So, what we're talking about today for Spooktober is...
Spooktober.
You phrased it better than I did, actually. Mine just says, spooky stuff in D&D.
Well, I figured today, since we haven't done like a tabletop episode in a while. So originally I thought, let's just do like a horror D&D kind of episode where we take a look at like horror like as aesthetics in D&D. Mm-hmm. But as I started researching a little bit more, I found a lot more tabletop games that are based on horror like specifics that I thought we could talk about. Just like what makes like fun horror tabletop experiences.
Yeah, there's is Arkham Horror one of them?
I would say Arkham Horror is definitely in that category.
Okay.
That one I haven't played.
Yeah, because that's the RPG that's Lovecraft. Yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
Cool. And I always associate warlocks with Lovecraftian stuff as well, just because there's one of your patrons can be the great old one, and
yeah,
we're always like thinking about like the mysteries of the deep or whatever, and
from the deep
from space. So yeah, the thing that I looked up was I looked up some information about the Curse of Strahd.
Yes.
So I can go into that as well.
For those of our viewers that don't know what the Curse of Strahd is, would you like to elaborate?
Yes. So, the Curse of Strahd is a campaign guide for 5e that was released in 2016. And it was actually based off of the 1983 Ravenloft module. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Ravenloft in a little bit.
Okay.
So, in this campaign, adventurers are surrounded by a deadly fog in the land of Barovia, ruled by Strahd von Zarovich. Yeah, and it's a gothic horror plot. It's kind of based off of based off of Bram Stoker's Dracula. There's a lot of that kind of that kind of aesthetic about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the sort of final confrontation takes place in Castle Ravenloft, which is where Strahd has his home and where his coffin is, I think.
That sounds like such a great name for a place, I have to say.
Castle Ravenloft.
It sounds so cool.
And so this game is designed for 4 to 6 players, and throughout the campaign you'll go from level 1 to level 10. That's kind of how it's designed.
Okay.
So the Curse of Strahd was created by Jeremy Crawford, Laura and Tracy Hickman, who were the original writers of the 1983 Ravenloft module. They brought them on again to help out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Chris Perkins and others. So Laura and Tracy are a husband-wife team who created the original Ravenloft module, and they had been hosting an annual Ravenloft session at their home for decades before the Curse of Strahd even came out.
So there's already a lot of D&D celebrity behind like the making of this particular module.
They designed it for. They have designed the Ravenloft Adventure module to be played with 1 E. So that was ages ago. In 1987, it was not 1987. What am I saying? 1983, it was released. And yep, they centered it around the same character, the same premise. Strahd von Zarovich, a vampire pining for his lost bride, and it was its goal was to combine gothic horror with D&D, and they play tested it with friends on Halloween for like 5 years before they published it.
Okay.
So a couple things about Ravenloft. In 1984, right after it was released, it won the Strategists Club Award for Outstanding Play Aid. And then in 1984, it was one of the 30 top D&D adventures in Dungeon magazine.
That's so cool.
I know, yeah. And then in 2004, it won second place for greatest D&D adventure of all time after Queen of the Spiders. So now I'm excited to see what Queen of the Spiders is, honestly. Sounds awesome.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. So another cool thing about this game is that there are, or this particular module, is that there were cards that the DM would draw at the beginning of the game that sort of changed various aspects of the adventure, like the locations of various artifacts and Strahd's motivations in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like what he's trying to do. So you could potentially play this game a couple of times and it would be different. So have you ever played The Curse of Strahd, Donald?
I have not played The Curse of Strahd. I've heard many tales of this particular campaign from my brother Zach, actually. He would always tell me stories of how in college he was part of a D&D club at his college, and he was part of a Curse of Strahd campaign that was run during it. And he would always tell me about apparently in his module the players encountered Strahd a little bit too early. So the DM had to figure out a way to not only keep the campaign going and keep Strahd alive, but pull some literal of what I would call anime bullshit in order to keep the story going.
You gotta love that anime bullshit.
Oh, I want that. I want to make that a shirt so bad, so bad.
Oh man.
One day.
Yeah.
One day.
I played part of The Curse of Strahd. It was actually the first campaign I ever played on. And it was after college, actually.
Okay.
My mom and my sister and my aunt and uncle, and my cousins, have been playing The Curse of Strahd together. So I came in kind of in the middle, and I actually took over for one of my little cousins who had gotten bored.
Okay.
So I was playing this random wizard.
Okay.
And it was tons of fun because we had a lot of inside jokes and stuff, just as family and everything, and nobody took it too seriously. Like my aunt took it pretty seriously. She's kind of one of those
hardcore,
type A min-maxer kind of people.
Oh, jeez.
Whereas me and my sister and my mom kind of just like to durdle around.
I find dirtling around to be some of the most fun that you can do, but from my experience of like just being told stories about like certain min-maxers, they can get pretty intense.
Oh yeah. My aunt actually got really mad at us one time, and like the entire session came to a standstill for the whole night.
Oh jeez, why?
Well, we had a plan to do something, to go to Ravenloft, but then the town got attacked, and we were like, well, we got to help the people in the town. And she was like, no, we can't do that because we're going to like burn all our spell slots and everything saving the town, and then we won't have anything to go to the castle with. And I'm like, so a bunch of us went to like save the town, and she didn't. She just stayed where she was.
Okay.
And got kind of mad at us. So.
Oh my god.
Because we wouldn't do what she wanted to do. But I don't know. We were just kind of like, well, this is what we would do, right? Like we wouldn't be thinking about that.
Yeah.
About like the out of game resources that we have and all that stuff. So, yeah.
I feel like in horrors, like, specifically in tabletop games with horror aesthetic and scenarios to it, part of, like, the charm of that is just immersing yourself in that horror-like experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play those kinds of games to, like, min-max or anything like that. Like, I don't feel like that's part of, like, the experience for that.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy having a stat that is really, really low, just because it's no fun if you can do everything. Like, you have to be able to, like, know what your teammates can do and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Leaving those kinds of, like, scenarios up to chance is just part of the fun.
Yeah. Like, my ranger, Petra, that I've been playing for a while, she's really good at survival, but of the survival skill, but the nature skill, she has like 0 in it. And so someone was like, make a nature check, and I was like, okay, and I rolled, and I was like, yep, that's a 4. And they're like, but how? And I said, well, because I don't have a bonus to nature. It's not one of my proficiencies. And they're like, but you're a ranger. And I said, yeah, but I track things. I don't know what kind of plants are around. I just know what it looks like when something's passed through.
That's so fun.
So they're like, yeah, this. And I'm like, yep, this bush here, I have no idea if I should eat the berries on it, but I do see that a twig has come off, and that means that someone has passed by recently.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's so goofy.
That is so funny.
And then you will find that my my blood hunter and corsairs, I on purpose gave her a charisma of 6.
Charisma of 6. Oh my god.
Because she's kind of disfigured and scary looking. So.
I still have to roll for my stats. And,
yeah.
I have the additions on there. I still have to roll for each specific stat line. So.
Yeah, we'll be tag teaming some things, I guess, because
not to
you'll charm our way into somewhere, and then I will wreak bloody havoc. But anyway,
Beautiful.
I think that this is a really fun module. I think I'd have to play it again, because at the time I was kind of like, well, because I wasn't playing my own character. I was playing just some random character that my 10-year-old cousin had made. So I was just kind of like, this is just like, it's just a vampire story. I don't really get it.
Just a vampire story.
Yeah, and I thought it seemed kind of stereotypical and stuff, but
right.
I mean, I'd have to try it again because it hasn't like won all this acclaim for no reason, you know.
I think also part of it comes down to like the person who's basically the game master or the dungeon master for the session too. Like storytelling and all that is very, very important.
Yeah. My uncle was pretty good. My mom did this thing where she what did she do? She opened up a crypt or something, and it would give her this certain ability that would help us against Strahd. But in exchange, she wouldn't become a zombie, but she would look like a corpse.
Oh my god!
Like she was like, "Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, it's fine." So her little gnome looked like a corpse for like half of the game.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And I almost made a deal to give myself skeletal wings so that I could fly, and I would have to eat like 50 pounds of grave dirt every day, but then we figured out that would not be feasible.
Oh my god, that's insane.
So, those are just some of the examples of dirtling around that we would do.
And dirtling around, honestly, I think is like one of the best aspects of horror-based like tabletop gaming is because the aspect of just dirtling around plays into that so much that can cause events to go off. Case in point, this one is an RPG related. Have you ever played House on Haunted Hill?
Yeah.
That one, like, it basically enforces, like, exploration. Like, and just going around. And the game transforms from there. Like, it has, like, 20 different scenarios of, like, what could happen?
Yeah. Basically, you build the board as you go, and you draw a tile, and then put it where you want it, where you're going. So...
Which I love that kind of game. Honestly, like, I want to start building my board game collection very, very soon, because I've been wanting to collect board games for a while. House on Haunted Hill is one
Isn't
that
it
is...
Betrayal at the House on the Hill?
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Betrayal at House on the Hill, yeah. I probably got it mixed up. But I really want that in my collection. I think that one is really fun. Just story progression in horror games, especially in tabletop, is kind of crucial.
Yeah, and I love that one too because at certain points you'll like draw like it's different every time. There's all sorts of scenarios, and you draw a card, and it has like a spooky thing that happens where it's like you see two ghostly children playing hopscotch. One of them looks directly into your eyes. You shiver. Lose take one psychological damage. Or something like that.
Yeah.
You just become more and more insane as it goes on.
It's a lot of fun. I remember playing that for the first time. So in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, there's a board game chain called Board Game Barrister.
Oh, yes!
Pre-pandemic, we were at, me and my friends, we would always attend free open table night at Barrister's that was near Southridge Mall. And I don't believe that location is open anymore, but they would always have these games on this shelf that would always be like available to like take out and try and play. And one time around Halloween, I want to say, we tried on Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill, and it was a lot of fun. I think I remember one of my friends decided to like, I'm gonna min-max this and actually just play this super cool, and just stayed near the entrance the entire time.
Yeah.
And because of it, when things started hitting off, when he tried to escape, his character fell into a pitfall and died. So he got punished for it.
What a waste.
He was so mad, and we were and all of us were just snickering. We're like, that's what you get for not playing. Yeah.
So what's the point of that?
It's no fun if you're not playing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm one of those gamers who sort of like, there are some people who they would rather win than have fun. But I kind of am the opposite. Like, if I have fun, if I lose, it doesn't matter.
Right. If you can play a game where your aim is to win, but most importantly, have fun before winning. Like, That's honestly, and that's what I've been appreciating in board games lately. And I think horror games, especially, where they can provide that kind of atmosphere, especially if you can immerse yourself in it, really, like mood lighting, like everything like that. It's just, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of spooky games out there. Not necessarily RPG, just like a bunch of.
Can I tell you about one of my recent fascinations?
Absolutely.
Have you heard of a tabletop game called 10 Candles?
No. Well, I think it sounds familiar, but I haven't played it.
Okay, so years ago, like it was funded on Kickstarter, and basically, it is a horror game about the experience itself. Like it's surviving as long as you can, but all these characters are doomed. How the board is set up, you have if I remember this correctly, because I've only played this once, but I've wanted to play this again ever since. Each player uses 10 dice, 10 d6s.
Oh,
Around the center of the table of these characters are 10 lit candles.
And you actually light candles in this game?
Yeah, if you can, to be really immersive. If you really want to be immersive, because part of the aspect of the game is that the candles represent the time limit of the game.
Okay.
And an aspect of the character sheets that you portray as the characters in the game, as they die, you literally burn the character sheets.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's you, the game master, and the players are literally crafting this horror story. And there are different modules to this, so it changes every single time.
Yeah.
And the candles represent like the small little amount of hope that's left until eventually the final candle is snuffed out. And when I played this, I was with a friend of mine. A friend of mine set this scenario up. It was a friend that I made back in college. He recently moved into a new place, and he had me and a couple of other friends that we made during college and theater just hang out with him, and we tried this game. I remember this well. It was actually raining that night, and we turned off all of our phones. We turned off all the other places, lights in the house, and we just lit the 10 candles. The only other light that we had was like a camping Coleman lantern that had to be powered by batteries in order to like see the dice rolls. It was so immersive and fun. I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it also helped that we disabled all of the fire alarms in the house.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it goes really against like health and safety, but I mean, you're working with 10 candles and you're burning character sheets, like.
Yeah. Have you ever played Mysterium?
Mm-mm.
I have it. It's good.
Well, what does it entail?
Okay, so imagine it's like Clue.
Okay.
But with ghosts, and the detectives are like clairvoyants. So one of you, it's a co-op game.
Okay.
So one of you plays the ghost, and you have a bunch of random cards.
Okay.
With like images on them and stuff, and you're supposed to put the cards, like give the cards to different people, which is like their visions. Right. And they look at them and they have to try and figure out, like, based on the cards you give them, the room they were murdered in, and the murder weapon, and the person who killed them. So it's basically like Clue, but with ghosts and visions and crystal balls and stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not very good at it, but I still enjoy it.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Like, does it follow like the same kind of like structural guideline as like Clue, where you have to find like different things before you can ask like specific kinds of questions or anything of that nature?
I mean, you don't have a board that you move around to different rooms, but you it's 3 rounds. So like the first round or something, it's the room where it happened. Room where it happened. The room where it happened. The room where it happened. And you so the ghost will give everybody some cards, and there's certain rules about how to hand out the cards. You'll look at the cards, and then based on those cards, you'll try and figure out which room it is, and there'll be a picture of the room as well. So like if there is a if the room is like a carpentry shop, and you send someone a picture that has like a forest in it.
Okay.
You know, that might be a clue that it's the carpentry shop, you know. So it's kind of like associating images and knowing how people's brains work.
Sounds like a mix between Clue and Werewolf. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
We gotta try this. Holy shoot.
So Mysterium. Yeah, it's like, Clue with ghosts.
Best way to describe it, and you have me hooked.
Cool.
You instantly have me hooked.
I'm trying to think what else there is. Have you ever played Dread?
Oh my god.
The game with the Jenga tower.
Yeah.
And when it falls, you die.
Yeah. That is a very interesting take, like, on that specific.
Yeah.
It's like a very specific on like a classic.
Yeah.
Especially when you add storytelling elements into it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like basically you build a Jenga tower, and you play different characters that you make up based on like a couple of questions, and they can be goofy if you want. Like I one time I played this stoner named Cumberbatch Benedict. He's like, hey, what's up? It's Cumberbatch Benedict.
Yo, Cumberbatch in the house.
It's me, Cumberbatch. And, so, stupid stuff like that.
I love it.
And sometimes it's like a horror mystery. Sometimes it's like one time I did like, it was like corporate Hunger Games where you had to try and survive in this office building. Using office supplies to defend yourself, and it was like whoever survives and gets to continue to work here or whatever. And I was like, why would I want to? Fire extinguisher. Oh man.
You know what would be a really fun idea for a theater game involving Dread?
Yeah.
Just get 4 players. This would entirely be improv, by the way. Mm-hmm. You get 4 players and just have them act it all out, but instead of like a small Jenga tower, get like one of those lawn set Jengas that people do for camping.
Oh, yeah. And have, I like that. And
I feel like that would be such a fun idea to do as a theater game.
And you have to go and like, or you have to try and, it's almost like capture the flag, where you have to go and complete different tasks. And come back and like finding a clue, and like the more bricks you pull, the more clues you get about where to find whatever you're looking for.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have so many ideas.
We came up with an amazing idea. Holy crap!
Oh yeah.
As soon as you were describing all that, I'm like, oh my god, like rockets are firing off in my head. It shall be done.
It shall be done. I have spoken.
Speaking of space stuff, I think I find space horror one of the most very frightening forms of horror.
Yeah, I mean, Alien, like, it's, okay, yeah, in space, in like, especially in a spaceship, I think the thing that makes Alien so scary is that it's kind of like being locked in your house and not able to escape.
Yeah.
Except that if you go outside in space, you die. So you're like, it's basically like being trapped in a glorified box with this creature. But and also because space just on its own is just this huge mystery, and it's unknown and it's dark and it doesn't follow the laws of gravity and of like atmosphere and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just completely wild and alien from what, no pun intended, alien from what we know here on Earth. I'm trying
to figure out if there's actually a board game that exists based on the Alien movie.
Yeah. What about Paranoia?
I feel like Paranoia would be I feel like that would be a good way to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I found one. Here it is. Alien Fate of the Nostromo. In Alien Fate of the Nostromo, players take the roles of the Nostromo crew members Ripley, Lambert, Parker, Brett, or Dallas. Over the course of the game, they collect scrap... They collect scrap, craft items, and fulfill different objectives. The crew will lose and gain morale as they encounter the alien and other situations. If crew morale reaches 0, players lose the game.
Wow. What's the name of the cat in that?
Oh, I don't know!
It's like it's something kind of clever. Like
Let me see. The cat's name in Alien.
Yeah, it's something clever like Atari or something. I don't know.
Jonesy.
What about Riley? No?
I think it might be confusing for the human character Ripley.
Right. Yes.
I don't know.
Jonesy the cat. Okay. I guess I thought it was something that was like well known in literature or something like that. Like Atari.
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen Alien in a while, so
yeah.
I really should get back on that because that's like one of my favorite horror films of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But an interesting thing to note, like just from reading that, a lot of horror-based like tabletop games revolve around cooperation.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
Strike that. Reverse it. Thoughts together, Donald. Do you think it's just because like the sense of community, the shared experience enhances said horror experiences that people find in games?
Yeah, I think so. Well, because a lot of horror movies, it is kind of that sort of the plot. It starts with a group of people, and then one by one they start to get picked off.
Right.
So it starts out as a group, which is why Betrayal at House on the Hill is so interesting as well, because somebody becomes like the traitor and will try and kill everybody else.
Either someone becomes the traitor, the house becomes like possessed or something, and like I said, there's like 10 or 15 different like scenarios that can happen in that game that can instantly flip everything on its head.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the co-op element that they have in there, it kind of contributes to a sense of how fear and danger can cause us to kind of like degrade a little bit.
Because there's always like a sanity and morality in games like that too.
Yeah. Where it's like you have to make all these ridiculous decisions and stuff. Like, what is it? It's that there's the Jackbox murder trivia game where you have to like.
Where they're trying to find the alien in space and stuff like that.
No. It's basically you and the rest of the group have been like kidnapped by this serial killer.
Oh, trivia murder party.
Yeah, and you have to answer questions, and if you get it wrong, you have to play a game, which is basically like there's one where it says, "All right, choose one of your fingers to cut off," and you choose one, and then whichever one you choose corresponds to one of the answers in trivia, so you can't ever answer like answer number 4 or something, which I think is bullshit. But
and then at the end of it, the one surviving like has to make it out while they're being chased by the ghosts of those that died.
While everyone else is ghosts. Yeah, so we all start out together, and then in the end, one of us is trying to kill all of us are trying to kill the other one.
Yep.
It's kind of like it's kind of just like the fun of backstabbery, maybe. It's
right.
Just a lot of, it's just interesting too. So there's a lot of like Lovecraft based.
I was about to go right into that too. Yeah, like a lot of the horror based games is usually revolved around Lovecraft. Mm-hmm. I mean, you mentioned Arkham Horror earlier.
Yeah, there's the RPG where you're playing investigators. I don't remember which one that is exactly. It might be Arkham Horror. There's just a whole ton. I know whenever I go to a board game store, there's always a whole shelf that has like Arkham Horror, the Mountains of Madness.
There are 3 editions of Arkham Horror. Mm-hmm. First edition was released in 1987. That's insane. I never knew about it.
I never knew about it.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that old either.
Gosh. That's ridiculous.
The game is based on Chaosium's role-playing game Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
So, Call of Cthulhu was another one. I forgot about that.
Okay.
There are 3 editions: 1987, 2005, and 2018 is the 3rd edition.
Okay.
That's so interesting. I mean, we mentioned this last year when we had the H.P. Lovecraft episode, just like how far-reaching the works of Lovecraft are in basically just pop culture, but I keep forgetting how effective it is in gaming, especially tabletop gaming. It's insane.
Yeah, great. I mean, I have trouble getting through a story written by Lovecraft. Like, it takes a while. I always sort of like struggle through the first maybe 3/4 of it, because they're all like, yes, and then I read a bunch of papers, and we were looking at all this architecture around, and then all of a sudden, something with tentacles appeared, and we all died. I'm like, well, that was exciting at the very end, but...
Eldritch Horror, you are an enigma, I swear.
Yeah.
And as popular as those games are, I have actually never played Arkham Horror.
No, neither have I.
I
haven't played any of them.
They are also on my bucket list. There's probably a couple of people listening. They're like, "Oh my god, you haven't played any of the Lovecraftian horror games? What is wrong with you guys?" I can think of maybe 3 of them. 3 of the listeners, regular offhand.
Oh, it's just called Call of Cthulhu.
Really?
The horror fiction role-playing game based on H.P. Lovecraft's story of the same name.
Oh, the detective one you were talking about, right?
The Associated Mythos. Yeah, the one where it's an RPG and you're like playing. First edition in 1981.
Jeez Louise.
7th edition in 2014.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 80s and the 90s, the explosion of tabletop gaming crazes.
Yes.
Never forget.
The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, so it's kind of got it blends the occult and Holmesian mystery.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go more Spooktober on it. I'm just going to borrow from John Hurt from Harry Potter. Curious. Very curious. God, I want to play a horror board game right now.
Me too, honestly.
Like it's like I said earlier, horror board games in my opinion, I actually didn't say this earlier. In my opinion, horror board games are like the purest form of board game entertainment, providing an immersive experience, a lot of fun, especially if you can be immersed, and a sense of community of everybody who's enjoying it.
Yes. And a complete lack of trust thereafter between you and your closest friends.
Well, that depends on if the board game that you're playing is one that has betrayal mechanics built in, like Betrayal of House on Haunted Hill.
That's true. Oh man.
So yeah, good God. Any kind of horror game that you have not played yet that you do want to play?
Well, the Arkham stuff, yeah.
Obviously, yeah. That one's on my list too.
I'm trying to think. There was something else that I had thought of, and I that was a good one. Oh, it was having to do with Cthulhu. Have you ever? There's something called, that game Pandemic.
Yes.
There's Pandemic, but it's Cthulhu Pandemic, where instead of it being diseases breaking out, it's like these portals opening and cultists coming out of the portals and spreading throughout the world.
Oh my God.
Which actually might be more tasteful to play nowadays.
Yeah. No kidding. Ay, caramba.
A couple months ago, when my mom and I visited my sister and My sister and her husband, we played Pandemic.
Okay. How did you all feel during that?
It was fine, but we failed miserably. We were like, wow. Damn.
I guess this truly is a reflection of real life. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, good to know that we were always gonna fail. Thanks, humanity.
Yeah. But I've played Betrayal. I have played Mysterium, Dread, Paranoia. I'd be interested to try 10 Candles.
If I can find a way to make that work, if I have to find out how I can get the game and how I can set it up, I would love to try that.
Yeah.
Like, atmospherically, like, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I love that.
But yeah, I also find it amazing, like, how many, like, horror-based tabletop games are all RPG based. Like, it's insane, like, how many of them are steeped in RPG elements.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Is there, like, a specific reason? Is it just because, like, horror games feel more fun when there's a progression like that? Do you think?
Elaborate. What do you mean?
So if there's like a progression mechanic in a game where it's either like a mentality level or just a time limit kind of thing, kind of like how I described with 10 Candles, do you think that is just more adding to the atmosphere with elements like that, with RPG elements like that in horror games than, say, a board game kind of stuff like Haunted Hill?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you have opportunities to, like if it's RPG, if you have like a more obvious opportunity to kind of play, then you become more immersed. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. Just in terms of like just playing around and like you said, it's like being able to improv on the spot with things. It's just if you're truly immersed, then oh man, the wonders that you can do.
Yeah. Paranoia, when the pandemic started, we took a break in loaded dice in our normal campaign, and we played Paranoia for a while.
I remember
it was supposed to be like 1 or 2 sessions, and it took us like 2 months.
I remember dropping in on one of those, and I'm like, wait, this isn't D&D.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because our group, our loaded dice group, is like, we're like the royalty of dirtling around is what we are.
Yeah, you guys are.
It takes ages to do anything. Like the Halloween thing that we're doing right now was supposed to be a one-shot. You stopped in for this. The one-shot where we're in a house.
Yeah.
Where there's ghosts, and then like my character touched a mirror and a shadow, and the reflection came out of the mirror and started attacking people.
Oh.
And like this was just the first like challenge or puzzle in the house. We didn't even go to any of the other rooms. We spent the whole 3 hours trying to figure out how to kill this shadow.
Oh my god.
It was so stupid. Whoops.
Gesundheit.
Like we got we got to the end of it, and we're just sitting there. We had finally figured it out, and and it was just silent for a second, and then I was like, "We are such dumbasses." It was so simple and so stupid.
Group mentality, don't you love it?
Yeah. But yes, royalty of dirtling around. I would love to. I'd love to make some merch of that. Actually,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of scared to join you guys for Avenaria Corsairs. If you guys think that Dirtling Round's gonna be something with just you guys, wait till I get in there.
Wait till you get in there.
Wait till I get in there.
Well, if you're down to dirtle, you'll fit right in.
Of course.
I feel like this episode, we've probably used the term dirtling around like 6 separate times.
If you guys like dirtling around in games just as much as we do, spread it out with the hashtag General Geekery, dirtling around.
Hashtag GG, dirtling around.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
I think we can end it off with that.
Yeah, I'm ready. Enough durdling around. Let's shoot this episode in the head.
Ooh, dang! I didn't even know an episode could have a head, but you learn something new every day.
Yep.
Well, guys, if you like what you've been listening today, and you guys want to go play a horror board game for yourself, hopefully we gave you guys some awesome recommendations. If you haven't heard of them already, go play them. If you guys have heard of them and you do have access to them, get a group together and go ahead and play them. They are fun games, and again, I will not overstate this enough. Horror board games are some of the most fun times you can ever have in board games. So, hopefully, enjoy yourselves and enjoy the immersive horror that you find yourselves in. And that's pretty much it from us. Thank you guys so much again for listening to this episode of the General Geekery Podcast. If you guys want to follow us wherever podcasts are found, we're on Spotify, we're on Spreaker, we're on Apple Podcasts. And if you guys don't have access to any of those services, all episodes are available in order on my YouTube channel, Anime Rev Productions. That is youtube.com/Anime Rev Productions. I got a entire playlist of that. I'll link it in the description of this episode.
Woo.
Also, available in the description of this episode, you guys can find us on social media, on Twitter and Facebook at Gen Geek Podcast, and at General Geekery on Instagram. Go check us out on there, just being geeks and all sorts of geekiness that we pretty much do.
Hell yeah, brother.
If you guys want to support the show in any way, shape, or form, please consider pledging to our Patreon at patreon.com/General Geekery, link of which is, of course, in this episode. And if you guys want to just chill out with me and Hannah, just talk with us about anything geek-related, come join our Discord. We have the link to the Discord server in the description of this episode. Come by and join the General Geekery Guild. If you guys want to check out what Hannah's doing, she's on Loaded Dice Adventures at twitch.tv/Loaded Dice Adventures. I'm going to be joining them soon for their Avenaria Corsairs spinoff. I'm super excited.
Woo!
Super excited!
Yes!
And, of course, she is also on the SPLANCHNIC podcast. Go check out SPLANCHNIC wherever podcasts are found as well. Also, you can check her out on Instagram at Pythian Legume. You guys can check me out on social media, too, at Twitter and Instagram at RyuzakiMK7, and on my own Twitch channel at RyuzakiMK7 as well, links of which are all in the description of this episode. And with that long description out of the way, I ran out of breath a couple of times during that. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 96 of General Geekery. 4 episodes away from 100. I'm so excited.
Yes. What are we going to do, I wonder?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. We got to get through Spooktober first.
Yep.
For Hannah Kubiak, I'm Donald Kaczynski. And until next time, guys, keep rolling your dice for initiative. Hopefully you get those nat 20s just like we did at the beginning. And always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Go forth and doodle around.